Good afternoon. Bonjour. C'est un plaisir de vous voir tous. So it is my pleasure to speak to you about transversality and interdisciplinarity, and this is in fact one of the main strategies also of the University of Luxembourg. I would like to try to convince you that it is a superpower and it is pivotal to have interdisciplinary approaches for complex context. So to start with, what is complexity? With this, I would like to start speaking about mega trends like health, like the digital transformation, and also sustainability. I believe you would agree that each of them are highly complex. You cannot think about a discipline alone working towards the climate change. You would need different specialists. But when we look into this over recent years, then we see that the intersections in between these megatrends, they become increasingly important. And as a matter of fact, interdisciplinarity and these intersections even become the norm when we speak about megatrends. So it is really of importance that we reflect on how we can address this and what kind of skills do we need. So to start, what is interdisciplinarity? Interdisciplinarity is the integration and the cooperation between different disciplines and also with different sectors. And there is an important number of challenges and interesting topics coming up with this. For instance, at the interface between digitalization and sustainability, it is interesting not only to speak about digitalization, but also to realize what the energy consumption is about. It is also important to ask what is the human dimension in a digital world which will be dominated by artificial intelligence, and of course it is important to ask how fintech as a technology comes together also with sustainability goals. At the interface between sustainability and health, it is interesting to ask what is the effect of environmental toxicology on health. For instance, what is the influence of pollution on neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer or Parkinson, and also how the climate will impact health issues. It is very clear that with 2 degrees more in our middle European area, a number of illnesses will come up from the south, which we have never seen in our region. It is also interesting to ask how social determinants have an effect on the health. And then perhaps the most important and biggest interdisciplinary opportunity is between the field of health and also the digitalization. Digital health is using sensors like from your watches. It is using data. It is looking into bioinformatics, and in other countries, especially in the Asian countries, especially Japan, robotics are already present in healthcare. They're not the future, they're already the present. So the question is, within these situations, are we ready for this? Do we have the right skill for going into these intersections? So for discussing this, I would like to discuss with you a relatively well-known concept, which is a concept of T-shaped skills, where you've got horizontal skills, which are the ability to apply knowledge across disciplines and sectors, and then also the vertical shape, where we are more looking into specialized expertise to solve problems. Now, this is not really something new. When you look back in history, there have been polymaths. They had not only knowledge across different disciplines, but they had an important contribution in each of these disciplines. People like Leonardo da Vinci, they had important contributions in art, in the field of botany, in the field of math, in the field of architecture and physics. So these have been perhaps the first people who have been interdisciplinary, or I should rather say multidisciplinary, with have an important contribution in each of the fields. This has radically changed later on throughout the last 200 years, where having a very specific expertise, a deep knowledge was very important. There is the example of James Watt, there is the example of Marie Curie, who has been working on chemistry and physics, and at the same time she has not been reflecting on sociology or philosophy. She has been putting all her emphasis and has had a main contribution in the field of physics and chemistry. And this was needed because the questions have been very important and very deep. If you think about the relativistic theory of Einstein, he had to concentrate on these things. But later on, it has been realized that this is just not everything. And there has been, in the 60s already, more emphasis on interpersonal leadership skills. And it's interesting to realize who came up first with soft skills. It has been the military. The American military, in their text for the first time time said it's not enough being strong, is running quickly, but is running in the same direction and fighting together. And only later it became something important in business. In the 80s and the 90s, it became important really in business. And one of the first companies really picking this up has been IBM. They realized it's not enough about knowing about technology, knowing about microprocessors and knowing about software engineering. It was needed that the people would work together. So this was a time when soft skills like communication, teamwork, the capacity of collaborating together, having leadership, all these soft skills became important. So this is one type of important horizontal skills. But what is equally important today, and perhaps even more important, is having the ability to work across many different subjects. So these can be mega trends, as I've said, but these can be also different disciplines. How do you collaborate together at the interface between physics, between biology, and between social science, for instance? It is equally important at the interface between sectors, between the automotive sector, the aeronautics sector, and also the health sector. And I would like to concentrate a little bit on how transversality is applied in technology. The European term, the term of the European Commission of this, is key enabling technologies. Key enabling technologies are technologies which are not focused on one sector, but which can diffuse into different types of sectors. Why this? Because a microprocessor doesn't know if it sits in a car, if it sits in a plane, or if it does sit in your golf club. It is the same technology. What you see in front of you, that is a strategy. This is the industrial strategy of Europe, is putting all the weight on industrial key enabling technologies, which can diffuse in different types of sectors. Now, when you reflect on this, the question is, what is the most important key enabling technology already today or tomorrow? And it is very clearly artificial intelligence. It is not a surprise because almost every second talk yesterday and today has been focusing on artificial intelligence. But there is something particular to artificial intelligence. It is not only an enabler, it does allow for interdisciplinarity and transversal approaches. It will be a motor. It will really drive interdisciplinarity because, again, artificial intelligence and algorithms, they don't know in what kind of application they are sitting. And there's so much the same in different sectors. Now, we have been discussing quite a bit yesterday and today about skills, and I've introduced to you horizontal skills and vertical skills, and how this has been changed over time from horizontal skills to vertical skills to being dominated again by horizontal skills. So now the question is, if you think about artificial intelligence and when you think about large language models, what is this? Is this a deep skill? Is it a vertical skill? Or is artificial intelligence really a horizontal, transversal skill? Perhaps you reflect for a second on this. When I ask this to my colleagues, my little sample is about 30 or 40 people, then 1/3 are saying it is obviously a vertical skill, because if I feed all the knowledge into an artificial intelligence, it will know everything. I'm myself a physicist, and it is clear on the broader field of physics, I cannot compete with my knowledge against an artificial intelligence which has been fed with all the knowledge in physics. 1/3 is saying, no, what I've heard, that artificial intelligence is very strong in pattern recognition. So it is very strong in making correlations in between different fields. And this is entirely correct. It's one of the main strengths of artificial intelligence. And 1/3 is saying it is both of it. So whatever you've been thinking, you are among one of these thirds. And I will give you now my opinion on this. I very strongly believe that it is both. It is clear that large language models like ChatGPT, they've got a knowledge of today's knowledge. And it is really important to realize that it is today's knowledge. It can only have the knowledge which what you have fed it to him. But at the same time, it is extraordinarily strong really in looking and having pattern recognition across different types of topics. So I believe the disruption of artificial intelligence is here, and everyone who is applying it in industry, in institutions, or the government has to conceive that it has both deep knowledge and the capacity of working transversality. So what is also of importance for us as humans is to keep in mind what are our real abilities and what are our imperatives. How do we want to artificial intelligence to be? So what is really close to us? This brings up interesting question about what is intuition, what is creativity, is this really human-like, or is there a part which can be related to artificial intelligence? What is clear to me is that the human is together 100 times, I don't know how many times, stronger when it comes to critical thinking, when it comes really to have critical thinking across disciplines and across different sectors. But the strongest thing, perhaps, that we humans have is the contextualization, is seeing the context of a situation, is the context of a technology, is the context of a socio-economic development in moral terms, in social terms, in societal terms, and especially also in cultural terms. So we have the capacity, we've got the abilities of creativity, of empathy, and also of having an ethic look. So this is important to combine both of them and not only see the technology advantages, but also have a responsible look into this. Now, a question I would like to address: how is the university addressing complexity? How is the
leaders? This is an emergency announcement. We have two vehicles blocking our emergency exits, one car and one motorcycle. The car's plate is FK030MS, Citroën.
Oh, Citroën.
The motorcycle is Yamaha Trioli JA9691. Please move them straight away.
Okay, so a Citroën is blocking the emergency exit, so it's French people are blocking the emergency exit. That's what it means. So I'm coming back to this. How's the university addressing complexity? How's the university addressing interdisciplinarity? It's in doing everything possible in being a collaborative university. What does this mean? How do we do this? The first thing is having a diversity of approaches. And this diversity of approaches comes with what the country is in having an important number of different nationalities. And I would like you to reflect what this means. Just think about how different cultures are preparing a decision, how they take a decision, and how they implement a decision. As a person who has been living for a very long time in France, 16 years or more, 20 years of my life.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Nexus 2050 inaugural edition, the International Tech Pulse. We invite you all to come to the main hall for a special fireside chat. We invite you all to join the main hall for a special fireside chat. Don't miss it right now, 3:30. Thank you.
I have to go or not? No, I don't have to go. So you don't have to go either, I understand. So I will take it back, right? How to prepare a decision, how to take a decision, how to implement a decision. Already in between France, Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, it will be very different. Not thinking about America, not thinking about Asia. So the diversity of approaches is the best way also to approach complexity. It is about personalized education, what we're doing at the university. We've got 300 professors for 6,000 students, one professor per 20 students. This is personalized teaching. It's not a mass university. It's learning critical thinking in a personalized environment. It is about excellence in research. It's not only thinking about the research of yesterday, of textbook material, but it's creating new research. It's about cherishing interdisciplinarity. Cherishing interdisciplinarity is creating the network you see in front of you. All the different lines are interdisciplinary projects in between biologists and sociologists, between computer scientists and people in law, people in history and computer science. And last but not least, we cherish partnerships because we believe we cannot think about collaborating, having an interdisciplinary approach, having an approach across different sectors without partnering with people. So I would like to conclude just by saying, when you reflect on skills, it is really helpful to reflect on horizontal and vertical skills. It is really helpful in horizontal skills to separate out scientific horizontal skills and horizontal soft skills, and always keeping in mind that we as a human, we are the basis underneath. When I have been speaking about interdisciplinarity, it is not an argument against disciplines. The term interdisciplinarity doesn't make any sense if there are no disciplines. Interdisciplinarity comes on the top of disciplines, and we need experts in disciplines, and we need experts in deep tech. Many of the discoveries, be they scientific or society, they will happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at the Nexus 2050 International Tech Pulse. We invite you all to come to the main hall for a special fireside chat. We invite you all to come to the main hall for a special fireside discussion. You don't want to miss this. Make sure to come to the main hall and grab your seats as fast as possible. They're filling up very soon.
So I don't know if you've heard what they're inviting for. They're inviting for a fireside chat. It is very certainly the very last thing I will do today, is sitting next to a fire. But never mind. So it is really important that being transversal and having an interdisciplinary approach is absolutely pivotal when we think about having skills. I believe workplaces need to enable and need to celebrate interdisciplinary approaches and transversal approaches. As a university, and our university in particular, we're there sitting in the same boat. We're enablers for you. And please, of course, you have heard it all these 2 days, watch out for artificial intelligence. We know there is disruption is coming, but artificial intelligence is one of these fields where you don't know what will there be in 10 years or 15 years time. We can't say that is our vision, we just retro plan this to today. That's the difficulty. But if we collaborate together, human society, industry, institutions, and also Agile University, we can address this and have a reflection on learning. Now to finish, if you think about learning...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to see that you finished. We invite all of you to join the main hall for a special fireside discussion. We'll start in 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So please head over to the main hall. A very special guest will be joining us.
It must be me, because I'm ready now. So I was just to say learning and questions, right? Paulo Coelho has said, when I had all the answers, then the question changes. And this is what we all will have ahead of us, in particular in the time of artificial intelligence. Thank you very much. My most bizarre talk I've ever given in my life. Thank you very much.